In March, when our students left the campus, since then, as parents and educators, we've been facing extremely trying times. In fact, we are all currently living in a VUCA world, a world that is extremely volatile with uncertain times. The challenges being faced by all of us, including the student community, are extremely complex, and everything is so ambiguous. Keeping this scenario in mind, we thought that as educators and parents, we need to be guided to be able to guide our students in turn on their educational journey in these tough times. And who better to guide all of us than Dr. Amrita Das?
Thank you.
I feel extremely privileged to welcome Dr. Das, who is the founder director of ICS in Lucknow, a leading educationist and a pioneer in career counseling. Dr. Das is well known not only in our country, but in the Middle East and Southeast Asia as well. Dr. Das has an extremely meritorious academic career. While she was doing her master's from the University of Lucknow, she topped her batch and she was bestowed with 2 gold medals. Subsequently, Dr. Das decided to pursue her doctoral. She did that from the University of Lucknow, as well as the University of London. She has been invited as an eminent speaker and a career consultant at universities across the globe. She has also been the director on the board of directors of various renowned public schools in the country. She was the director at the Woodstock School in Missouri. She is currently on the board of directors at the Auckland House School in Shimla. She is also on the board of directors at the Bishop Cotton School in Shimla, the Study Hall School in Lucknow, and the Nirmal Bharati School in Delhi. This is just to name a few. Acknowledging her role as an educationist and a career consultant, she has conducted 2 international conferences. One, Education 4.0, and second, Careers 4.0, both of which were highly appreciated by various stakeholders from across the globe. Dr. Das's biography was part of the Who's Who in 2015. And in February 2020, Dr. Das featured on the cover page of CEO Insights as a trailblazer guiding the nation in the sphere of education. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Das.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We also have with us 2 eminent panelists, Ms. Nupur Wali, a senior career counselor at ICS. Ms. Wali has been working with ICS for over 25 years. She has a master's in psychology from the Isabella Thorburn College, Lucknow, and she is also the holder of a postgraduate diploma in career counseling. Welcome you, Ms. Wali. Ms. Rashmi Singh is a face everybody is familiar with at Kasiga. For the last 2 years, she's been coming to help our grade 8 student make subject selection choices when they are about to embark onto their educational journey in the senior secondary section. Ms. Rashmi Singh has a master's in English literature from the University of Pune. She has also done an MBA with a dual specialization in marketing and human resources. Welcome you, Ms. Singh. Without any further ado, I think It's time we all heard from Dr. Das. So over to you, Dr. Das.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sonali Sinha, for that wonderful welcome. It's a great delight for all of us to be associated with one of the best schools in the country under your dynamic leadership. We are all here today in this webinar, the principal, the teachers, parents, counselors, because all of us have a shared vision. And our shared vision is that we want our children to be happy, successful, lead meaningful lives, have a fulfilling future. We want them to realize their dreams. So it can only happen if all of us work towards it, because the world indeed is VUCA, as Mrs. Sinha put it so aptly. And then the unprecedented COVID crisis has turned our world upside down. So there has been a lot of tragedy, loss of lives, loss of careers, a big drop in the income globally. But within this scenario, it is important to see opportunity in adversity. And the opportunity that has emerged is a far better scenario for future education, for future careers, which I'll be talking to you about. So we need to see that. And these opportunities are emerging every day. We have so many wonderful free resources on offer. A university like Harvard University has put its courses free for students to access. So we need to capture some of these opportunities. Another wonderful thing that has happened is a splendid isolation. I know it can be very, very, I would say, irritating at times just to be in one confined space, but it has led to a better understanding, a connection of hearts and minds, of people at home and in the communities and across the world. And I think we have also learned resilience. We have learned patience. And what COVID is teaching us, that who will survive is not just the fittest, but the fittest and the quickest. So in a very short while, we have had a huge learning trajectory, and that's going to be very useful. Now, when we talk about the role of parents in facilitating a successful future for their children, I can say that we are raising children who belong to a very different generation to us. We grew up in a generation which was Generation Y. It did not have the kind of technology access that our children have today. Our children are children of Generation Z or Generation Z. And Generation Z has grown up with IT and with artificial intelligence. There was very little that we could teach our parents. We were always learning from them. But our children are our technology gurus. When we buy a mobile phone and we want to activate us, it is our children who do it for us. And they are the ones who know what is the latest, which app we should download, how should we get seamless connectivity. So we are always learning from them. Very recently, a parent bought a system, and a very high-tech system of connecting multimedia with many devices. And that system, after a while, didn't work. So he rang up the company and said, please send your engineer, system not working. How could you sell something like this? And a very patient person asked, how do you know the system is not working? And the father said, my daughter said so. So the reply was, okay, then I'm sending the engineer. So this is the kind of awareness and enlightenment our Generation Z children have. But within this, there are a lot of complexities. And I can say that parenting today perhaps is the toughest career in the world. Having said that, there are certain factors which never change. Whenever there's a success story in any field, be it music, art, technology, medicine, teaching, management, any field, the person who has been successful, who's got recognition, who's received an award, invariably says, I could achieve this because my parents believed in me. My parents inspired me, motivated me, encouraged me, even when there were bad times. They gave me unconditional love. That is so important. So, parental support is not only motivational, it is also essential in tackling so many misconceptions regarding educational and career choices. All of us have found that parents want the best for their children, but it is important to know what indeed is the best for our children. So let us start by looking at some of the qualities of this amazing Generation Z that we are bringing up as parents of Generation Y. I'm sure this will look very familiar to you. So here's your child doing so many things on the phone, watching TV, doing homework, and you say, how can you concentrate? I'm okay, dad, mom, I'm managing well. Text messaging, listening to music, internet chat room, all of that happening. And there's a distraction, of course, and you're worried. But let me tell you, Generation Z kids are task switchers. They're not necessarily multitaskers, but they are task switchers. So their traits are they are digital, global, mobile, social, and visual. Now, all of this has a very positive outlook when we consider the access they have to knowledge, the self learning that they can embark on, the connectivity across the globe. All that is wonderful, but they're not reading enough. They're too visual in their orientation. The other aspect, which is worrisome, is that there's social media addiction. And WHO has, in its book of diseases, brought in the latest one, which is social media addiction. We have come across so many students who have gone into playing PUBG, and as a result of that, their grades have dropped. Their personality has changed. They're irritable. They don't sleep enough. I was shocked when recently a young boy met me and he said that he wanted to be in the army. So I said, how wonderful. Why army? And his reply was, I'll be able to play real life PUBG. So you can see the kind of impact games which are violent are having on their minds, and it's a cause for worry. And we have to see how do we help them not to get completely addicted to social media. Also, while they connect with their peer group, there's a disconnect with elders, with parents, and we've got to see how to bridge that communication gap. They are task switchers with limited attention span. They come and say, we can't concentrate for long. Give us some techniques. Help us. We get distracted very easily. That's another major problem. Interestingly, they're a very lucky generation as well. They're headed towards careers that do not exist today, but with a lot of promise, very exciting, lot of possibility, infinite options. Even more important, when we ask them what they want most in life, the answer is they want to be happy. And when we ask what will make you happy, they reply, and this is across the country, realizing my potential to the fullest will make me happy. About 10 years ago, this was not the answer. About 10 years ago, the response was, we want to make a lot of money. Tell us about a career where we'll make a lot of money. Now, money is important, creating wealth is important, but it goes far beyond that for this generation. They want meaning in life. They want their passion to be their profession. And in all of that, they want to shape their own journey with all the parents and adults as guides, not imposing dreams on them, but facilitating their dreams. And this, dear parents, is based on a big survey that we did. And the survey was called The Qualities That Define Me. Over 2,000 students participated in it across the country, and what came out from everywhere is that they want to be in the driver's seat, shaping their own journey with the support of parents and teachers. I believe in the power of now. When all of us were growing up, we were told you're leaders of tomorrow. We were asked, what careers would you like to go in? What would you like to do? And I have found increasingly that the young people of today are leaders not of tomorrow, they are leaders of today. They are the ones who have taught us about sustainable practices at home, about limiting our carbon footprints. They have made us more mindful about striking a balance. And I feel that if we give them that opportunity to express themselves, to make a difference, there's a lot they can do in our society, particularly in establishing a post COVID equilibrium. Our children today have a lot of talent, and they have technology to showcase that talent. So we need to realize that many of them, while studying, will be trailblazers, will be stars. So they will be that inventor, that teacher, the musician, the entrepreneur, the web designer of today. They're starting young. And I've picked up a few examples to share with you. The first one on the screen is a high school student from Bangalore called Samay. He made a fantastic presentation on our circadian rhythm, our body rhythm, which he researched along with his physics teacher. And he stood first in San Francisco in a global competition and got 2.8 crores. The school got money to set up a big lab, and the teacher was also rewarded. The young boy next to him is Shapath. He's just finished grade 12, and he's on our national shooting team. He goes for international competitions. He was very distressed with the lockdown because he couldn't practice. So when I spoke to him and asked him what else he liked, he said he loved animations, he liked making apps. So I suggested, how about making an app? Get together with some of your friends and make an app. You have time right now, quality time. And he created an app which is trending. Next to him, we have another boy who's a brilliant photographer, and he won global award for photography, and that too wildlife photography. So Arshdeep has made a name for himself as a wildlife photographer. Angad, this young man, did something amazing. He has a very, very caring nature. So he created a reader for those who are visually challenged, and they can now read wearing the spectacles that he created. 9-year-old Sarah Rose has established her name as an author, and she has written a book, co-authored a book with a very senior author called Paro Anand. Then we have young Samaira. At the age of 8, she started her company, and she's launched many games through that company called Coding Bunnies. Then we have a teacher in our midst, a high school student who started a school for less privileged people, and he goes and teaches them early in the morning before he joins schools. Now, there are many more stories like this. If we put our kids on track in leveraging their talent, in believing in them, in providing all the opportunities to be good students, but at the same time participate in co-curricular activities, develop their talents, you will find that they will really make a big difference to our society. So let's now look at the differences between what we faced and the opportunities that present our children. So when we were growing up, there were very few options, and we literally had to play a lottery with our careers. So it was a career by chance. Now it is a career by choice. There's so many opportunities and there's so many courses. So a career by choice, not chance, should be our dictum. There used to be very specific subject criteria for professional courses. Now it is much more flexible, interdisciplinary, and students have access to courses and careers from all subject streams. In fact, you'll be happy to know that the Indian boards, CBSE and ISC, have removed the arts, science, commerce blocks. You can take subjects across the board. From next year, engineering will not have chemistry as eligibility. It'll be physics and math, not chemistry. Chemistry will be there for chemical engineering. So there are going to be a lot of changes because of the importance of connecting the dots, interdisciplinarity, and we'll be discussing more about it. As I said, there were fewer choices earlier, there are infinite choices today, many more specializations. Earlier, the focus was on qualifications. So it was BCom equals accounts, MBA equals management, but today a person of English literature can also move into space teams, and you have many such people, and I'll be discussing about that. And you can have a person from science or humanities also becoming a banker. So it's not qualification oriented, it's talent, knowledge, and skills oriented. There used to be a single career focus. You embarked on a career, you ended on it. And now it's multiple. It has been predicted that Generation Z will have a minimum of 5 different careers in their lifetime. So we have to be lifelong learners today, and you can bring different building blocks together. For example, you could be a lawyer who's a teacher, who's a writer, or a musician. So you bring different building blocks together. So what are the challenges? Parents, the biggest challenges we face is that mindsets have not kept pace with the changing trends. We are still thinking in many stereotypical ways, and I'll just share them with you. There's a lack of authentic information, too many misconceptions and generalizations. We need to customize today, not generalize. We have to prepare our kids for their future, not our past. So let us not confine our children to our own learning because they've been born in another time. And what a different time it is, fast changing. A new page of history is written before yesterday's ink is dry. The only constant is change. So courses are changing, career paths are changing, newer options are emerging. So let's look at the misconceptions, and then I'd like to share something very special with you. So one of the biggest myths is that taking up physics, chemistry, math, and biology open up wider career options in the medical and engineering fields, increasing the chance of success. Now, what then happens is a hierarchy is created in the minds of people, wherein PCM and PCB are at number 1, commerce at number 2, and humanities at number 3. And principals are in a lot of pressure to admit students for the science stream when the students have aptitudes to excel in commerce or humanities. So we need to actually think this through and ensure that our children get subjects that would bring out the best in them. Another misconception is that once you've taken up physics, chemistry, maths, or physics, chemistry, biology, you must go for tuition, for competitive coaching. So you may want to do something else. But the moment you enter physics, chemistry, math, it's engineering coaching, PCB, it's medical coaching. Nobody listens to the child if the child says, but I don't want this. I want to do something very different. I want to do art, or I want to do economics, or I want to study physics. They're told, all right, you do it, but you first become an engineer, then you can do what you want. First become a doctor, then you do what you want. Now we need to get out of that, because that is not the pathway for today. Then when it comes to choosing whether to do an academic course or a professional degree, the general trend is take a professional degree, you'll start earning well. If you go the academic route, you don't know what career is in store for you. So better safe than sorry. There are many routes. We've got to see what suits our kid best. Another one, a very big misconception: high marks are the only indicator of future success. So students are compelled to take up tuitions at the cost of extracurricular activities. And that puts them under a lot of stress and tension. You know, parents, today, every competitive exam has 50% as a cutoff. And for most competitive exams, it's a general mental ability test, which is about reasoning, general knowledge, English, and numerical ability based on class 10 level math. So we must encourage our children to do their best, but do their best. We don't have to set benchmarks as per others. And we need to ensure that their talent is tapped, their potential is tapped to the fullest. So having said this, we'll watch a film which we have made at ICS. It's our first film called Your Choice Matters, and we'll take up questions before we proceed on subject choices and campus choices. So Your Choice Matters.
I like art.
And you're wasting your time on all this?
What's wrong with that?
You are capable of much more, Alia.
I want to be a designer.
Engineering is the thing for you.
Not art.
Engineering is the thing for you. Engineering is the thing for you, not art.
क्या मुझसे क्या क्यों मारे मुझे यार बे
Good morning, children. Sit down. Alia, are you okay? You're looking upset. Okay. Boys, why are you not in uniform? Sit down. Okay, children, I have your maths papers. Let's see how you've done. Alia, you have the highest in maths. Congratulations. Your parents must be so proud. I hope you go in for engineering. And Mars, what is this? Such a poor performance. Really, I hope you know the board exam is just around the corner.
Dad, when's the treat?
Hey guys, कैसे हो? Hey, what's wrong? Why are you so sad? Aren't you happy you scored the highest marks? You can get into any college. Why aren't you happy?
I don't know, yaar. I'm so confused.
What? You're disappointed because you missed one mark? Such a snob, Alia.
Oh, please. It's not that. I mean, fine, I got great marks, but I don't know if I really want to go for engineering or not.
Then don't go. Do what you want. You're pretty amazing at design. Why don't you go for that?
Dude, she's pretty amazing at science too. She can get into any college and go for any field. I don't know if I'll get what I want or not.
Yeah, right. Like, why did I even take science if I didn't want to go for engineering?
Do you guys remember what our career counselor said?
Yeah, she said that everyone who loves science doesn't need to go for engineering. And she also said that today there are so many career options, so you can make your passion your profession.
And yeah, you can always talk to your parents about it.
My parents, They would never agree to it.
Let her be, na guys. It's her choice. By the way, did you guys see that Elon Musk interview? That is amazing.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Alia, it's your work?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, so good. It's very beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Very nice. Keep it up.
Hey, we're going to look for some engineering books. You want to come along? Hey.
Hi, Pa.
Hi, beta.
Hi, beta.
Hi, Ma.
How was your day?
It was fine.
So how was your result?
Result was good. I actually scored the highest.
Oh, that's wonderful. We must celebrate. I'm so proud of you, beta. Congratulations.
Thanks, Pa. Pa, actually, the application
Which application?
for engineering.
Oh, I've done that. The receipt is on your table.
Oh, thanks, Pa.
You did it already?
Yes, I filled the application form and paid the fees.
Wow, way before the deadline.
I'm so glad you went to the Institute for Career Studies for expert advice.
Mom, Pa, you did it. It's design, not engineering. I'm going to India's first design university. It's my dream come true. Thank you so much, Pa. Thank you so much, Ma.
It's for you, beta. Live your dream.
Thank you so much.
Isn't this what you wanted?
Yes, Pa.
We were wanting to surprise you. I think it's worked.
Yes, it has.
Follow your dream, beta. I know this time must be very stressful. Peer pressure, our expectations must be stressing you out. But remember, we are there for you, no matter what you choose. Okay?
Yes, Ma. Hi, Alia. Hi, guys.
Hey, Alia.
Hi, guys.
Hey Alia, what's up? You look happy today?
You won't believe what happened.
What? Did you see that interview? He's awesome, right?
Arey no, yaar. You know my parents. They got me registered for the Anand National University, Ahmedabad's entrance exam. My parents, I thought they wanted me to go for engineering, and now it's design.
Oh, but you can always go for product designing after engineering, right?
No, yaar. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, congratulations. And I was thinking that we'll go to the same engineering college.
Don't worry. I'll do your company's branding, okay? Guys, by the way, I was thinking that we misunderstand our parents so much. All they need is that we be free with them and share our thoughts. Right, guys?
Yes, you're right. They should see our drive and determination. Hey, do you guys think they'll let me become a professional gamer?
Well, if you are sure that you want to pursue that as your career, you can always talk to your parents about that.
Yeah. Now I am also sure. I don't want to be a lawyer like my father.
I want you as psychologist.
You love music and psychology, right? So you can go for music therapy, just like my cousin Shreya.
I hope you enjoyed that, parents. And it gave so many wonderful messages which showed the relationship between parents and their children, the misunderstandings that happen, and how just a close communication and words of motivation can make all the difference. We'll now open it up for some questions and then move into subject selections, followed by courses and campuses and careers. Are there any questions, Nupur?
Yes, ma'am. I have 2-3 very interesting questions. One is this parent is asking how, as a parent, I can help my child in identifying his true passion. Because they keep switching. One day my child is liking something, 2 days he continues, and then third day he switched to something else. So I get confused as a parent. What is the true passion? That is what is like, I found it very interesting actually.
No, it is a very interesting question. And I would like Rashmi and Nupur, my colleagues, to share their views on it, and then I'll summarize it for you. So, Mrs. Rashmi Singh, would you like to start by giving your views? Just need to unmute yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So it's an interesting question, something which we come across all the time. The ideal thing would be actually to consult a professional in this case, someone who can really help out the child. It's very difficult for children sometimes to really identify themselves, to actually know themselves. They need to be guided through it, either having a one-to-one chat with their parents who know them very well, and at times even parents, because they are biased, to take the opinion of an unbiased third sort of agency, which could be either professional career counselors, who will probably have a word with the child, test them out for their skills, their aptitudes, take their psychometric tests, gauge their personality traits, and then advise them accordingly. So I think that is the ideal path.
Mrs. Wali, what's your take?
I'd just like to add another aspect to this. Parents much would depend on the age and the class of the child. I feel if the child is young, class 8, 9, there's a lot of time for them to explore. Because some students decide they're very clear in class 9, some take longer. Some even go beyond school and then finally fine-tune their career areas. I realize the parents' concern because everybody is kind of very focused very early. But the student could take a combination of subjects, different subjects, try out activities, various activities available in school. And then slowly, I think the child will be able to identify somewhat which are the areas, like is she creative, is she more technically inclined, is she good with numbers. So even the parents would be able to kind of focus more. And then, as Rashmi said, beyond that, if the child is still very confused, then professional help can be sought, because exploring leads to a lot of decision making, I feel, many times. And it's okay if the child is on one thing at one moment and another thing another moment. Give them a bit of time, I feel.
Yes, so I think that's a great idea. Exploring possibilities is good, because we say be a possibility thinker. And exploring is important because so many things are changing. Also, as we journey in life, we keep changing. Right. We grow in experience, we grow in knowledge, and the world is changing. So exploring is important, and being allowed the space to explore non-judgmentally. Then there's a time for a holistic profile of students based not just on aptitudes, but aptitudes, interests, talents. And we have to be very careful what psychometric tests are being used, because very often students are misled by tests which just look at their aptitude or look at just one aspect. And any sort of assessment which says you're good at this but not at that should never be followed. We should never close doors for students. We should, in fact, help them to prioritize. So, as both Mrs. Wali and Mrs. Singh said, we have to look at it from different stages. Today, young students at 7 are wanting to know. And I'm asked by parents, what is the right age to decide a career? Parents, there's no right age. We have child prodigies who come up as spectacular specialists and with talent at a very young age 4, 5, 6. We know students who are very focused at the age of 13, 14, 15. But there are others who are in grades 11 and 12 and they're still unsure. So the idea is to keep supporting them in the decision-making process and using just the perfect tools of psychometric tests, exercises, conversations, and guidance to help them. Here, I find that projects and internships help a lot. Having students talk to people in that particular field helps a lot. I remember how a student came to us once, very fond of animals, very interested in biology, wanted to be a vet. And we put some questions. And what came out is that she's very sensitive. When her pet hurts itself, it's the mother or father who tend to it. She can't stand the sight of blood. So I fixed up for her to do an internship with a vet for a week. After a day, she was back and she said, no, this is not for me. Ultimately, she went in for biotechnology and she's an eminent scientist today. So exploring helps. There are kids who say, we want to go in for hotel management, so we want to do culinary arts. But once they get an insider view, they say, no, that's not for me. So we need to provide opportunities for them to explore and then prioritize, because there are many, many options. And also, their interests will change. So they may start with something and after a while they get interested in something else and they pick up the qualifications, they shift tracks. That's possible today. Once they shift tracks, they always take the learning of their previous engagement to the new one, because all of the skills that they learned are going to be useful. So in their scheme of things, there's a continuum, and the learning in one helps to succeed in the other. It's just that we are not used to it. We were taught a rolling stone gathers no moss. Today I can say a rolling stone gathers more moss. So you hop, skip, and jump, and you move ahead. Next question, please.
Again, a very interesting question from one of our parents. They said, this parent, he's a graduate, and he said he never had as many opportunities, and he had only heard about commerce, science, humanities, and comes from a very small town of India. So he said, yes, I'm a modern parent. I have sent my child to Kasiga, and I want my child to have all opportunities. But as a parent, I'm not very well aware. I mean, because I have my business to go to, I come back home, my wife is just a housewife, so this is ground reality. So how, as parents, when we come from moderate backgrounds, how can I add on to my child's success and give him emotional support?
This is such a beautiful question that you've asked. And I think you have showcased the best of parenting by being so mindful about how you can guide your child to the best of your ability. Just by participating in a webinar like this is going to give you a lot of new awareness and some facts. We'll also share our website with you, our Facebook page with you. And we have been associated with Kasiga for many years and with many schools. You can remain in touch with us. It's important to take authentic expert guidance. It's important to keep yourself tracking all the latest developments. And it's not difficult today to track developments, because you have wonderful programs on television, you have information on websites, you have articles, and of course, organizations like us are always there to help you, to support you, to guide you, and to send you all the information that you require. We'll be giving you password and user ID for our website, and you're welcome as members of ICS to access it at any point.
Yeah, okay. Probably. And again, I have a question which is probably not related to child psychology, But initially in your discussion, ma'am, you mentioned that there is Harvard universities are offering some courses which a child can pursue at home. So there is a parent who is wanting to know that how can he access those courses? What is the link to it? I mean, if you could just share that link or something, and they can just probably...
We'll definitely do that. We'll share our email ID after the session.
Right.
Write to us. We'll share the link with you.
Right.
And like Harvard, there are many other campuses across the world which have offered wonderful courses for free. Also, Coursera.in and Udemy, Microsoft, Google have many free courses on offer by experts. So that is the beauty of the world today, where a lot of philanthropic people are reaching out and sharing their knowledge. So we will definitely send you the links of not only this, but other courses when you write to us.
Sure. Ma'am, again, I think there is this question, but we may just take this in the second part, because again, very interesting question, that my child is totally playing video games and he says that he wants to be a professional gamer. So how do you think is a suitable career? I mean, the parent is quite confused. Is there a career called professional gamer also?
Of course there is. There's a career of not just a game designer and developer, but a professional gamer. Just like you have professional hockey players, tennis players, you have professional football players, soccer players, you have professional gamers, and they earn a lot.
Okay.
But the only thing here is that it has an element of addiction. And we have to manage time much better. I'd like my colleagues to give their take on it. Mrs. Wali, what do you feel?
Yes, there have been many cases where this has gone into a kind of addiction. So I think there has to be a balance somewhere. If the child is really good, then maybe he should be encouraged. But he also needs to keep a backup career, for which he has to have another academic program or a professional course going.
Yes.
And so that there's a safety net. So if his gaming career actually takes off, it'll be great. Like you said, you can earn a lot and do well in that. But in case he is good at gaming, but he is not up to that level, then it can be a good hobby for him, and he can bank on the safety net career, which he can develop simultaneously by studying about it. And he can always fall back on that.
Absolutely. So that's a very good insight, because at ICS, this is exactly what we advise students who are passionate about sports or games. So we say, while excelling in that, you're never sure about whether you'll have a breakthrough to go to the national or international level. So if you want to be in that arena, you could take up programs like sports psychology, sports management, sports medicine, sports media. Similarly, for gaming, if you want to be in the arena, it may be a great idea to do UI, UX, or learn the coding for games. So you're within the arena. You can even be a great script writer for it. So there are a lot of possibilities within the field, and I agree a backup option is needed. Mrs. Singh, anything you would like to add?
Another thing is, you see, one is, of course, we don't know how old the son is, but if he needs to first test himself out actually. And a best way would be that, whenever they have their vacations, etc., he must take these short courses in gaming and see how well he's doing, take a feedback from the instructors. Is he actually exceptionally bright? Because in a profession like gaming, you've got to be outstanding.
Absolutely.
Not enough to be just interested.
And the other thing is, if you get so deeply into it and you just start practicing that game, you miss out on your studies. So the focus has to be board exams for future success. So take up the subjects that gel with you, that you'll excel in, which will give you a good professional backup. You have to actually plan your time and prioritize. Thank you. Let's take the next one.
That's it, ma'am, for now.
So we'll just continue. And I love the questions. Keep it coming, parents. Yeah. We go to the next part of our presentation. So the points to remember from our discussion so far, that there are no ideal careers, only ideal choices. So we cannot say that engineering is better than teaching, or that economics is better than psychology or literature. Also, this question came up, we've got to constantly fine-tune the choices to our frequency. Look at our aptitudes, consider our interests, aspirations, talents, and bring it all together and see what is the best fit in terms of a dream career, a dream job. The right course at the right campus after +2 is a must, because what is happening today, students aspire to get into a great campus and they don't realize that they've got into the great campus, but they perhaps are not studying a course they should be studying. Parents today, there are more seats than students. Education is a buyer's market, I said. And you will find more and more every June, July, now it will be in November, December, a lot of advertisements from top campuses saying seats vacant, apply immediately with your board marks. So the entire process of admission for colleges and universities is undergoing a radical change and restructuring. It is possible to have the course that is best suited for you and study it at a campus that is renowned, because that will ensure a successful transition, a successful move to a great career. Definitely aspire to make your passion your profession, because if you love what you do, you give of your best, you grow, and you make a valuable contribution, and the company or the organization wants to keep you. More than that, you're happy in life. And when you're happy, you're fulfilled, people around you are happy. So it's a beautiful environment. Success comes when opportunity meets with preparation. Thorough preparation at every stage is a must. We need to know what an entrance exam is going to demand, prepare for it, what kind of skills a job will demand, acquire those skills. That will make us future ready. So I tell students, dream big, act now. Walt Disney said, if you can dream it, you can do it. I say between dreaming and doing, wake up. So this is a stage for a wake-up call. The moment the students are in grades 8, 9, and 10, they've got to start exploring, and we've got to encourage them to dream big, to work well, to work hard, and to keep a good balance between academics, hobbies, co-curriculars for their all-round development. So when it comes to ultimately, how do you make a choice? 3 things must come together: what you're great at, what you love to do, and what will result in a rewarding career. So with so many careers there, it is possible to bring these 2 elements, dovetail them, and have them in a career of your choice, which then becomes your dream job. For this, it's important to know yourself, inform yourself, and plan for yourself. You know, when Alexander the Great decided to conquer the world, he went to his teacher Aristotle and he said, "Sir, give me one tip that will enable me to succeed in my mission to conquer the world." Aristotle, the great philosopher, looked at him and said, "Son, know yourself, know your strengths, work on them, know your weaknesses, eliminate them, know your opportunities." So find out what the opportunities are, make the most of them. Also identify the threats or the stumbling blocks and overcome them. Now, the threat could be a subject. I want to be a doctor. I am great at biology and chemistry, but weak in physics. Build up on physics. I want to be an economist, but math is a problem. Build up on it. I want to be a lawyer, but I'm very shy. I don't speak much. I don't communicate much. Build up on it. So if we do that, we will then be able to actually move towards the realization of our dream and our goal. I said, Inform yourself. Information is power. The right information at the right time will get you to the right opportunity. And then plan. And this planning is dynamic because the routes are changing, the courses are changing. It's pretty much like you go to a city today, go there after 2 years, and what do you find? All the roads have changed. There are flyovers, there's a metro, and you put on your GPS, and it's the GPS that guides you. So it's important to have a career global positioning system wherein you constantly plan based on where you are right now. So you ask, who am I? Where am I? Where do I want to go? How do I get there? And that is something that will give us the answers. Very interestingly, most careers are open today from any subject combination. So that has enabled students to pick up the subjects that would bring out the best in them, that would develop their mind, develop their intellect, and open up a lot of career possibilities which they would like to consider. So I'll show you an approach for this very simply. So the first important thing is to take up subjects that gel with you, that you're good at, that you enjoy studying, or which you need to study to be able to get to your dream. So when you do that, you achieve high performance levels because you're self-motivated. Your self-esteem grows. You feel good about yourself. You receive praise and congratulations. You feel great. So your self-esteem is boosted. You don't need to have tuitions because you can study on your own. It gives you time for extracurricular activities and hobbies, for projects, and that helps you to develop a smart mind and a smart personality, ultimately leading to happiness and fulfillment. So it's very important to make the right choices at every stage. When the students are making choices, there's something that you can look at to show that there are very few eligibility criteria. So the eligibility criteria are that physics, chemistry, math is required for engineering, architecture, pharmacy in engineering institutions, merchant navy, and biotechnology. But already there are some top universities like Vellore Institute of Technology that take students who have physics, chemistry, biology without math. You have to do math as a foundation subject, and that's it. You don't have to have it in +2. So another change which is coming up is that chemistry may go from the list for engineering and be physics and math with chemistry for chemical engineering or petroleum engineering. For Air Force and Navy, you don't need chemistry, just physics and math. And likewise, for civil aviation, for becoming a pilot, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation requires you to have studied physics and math in 11 and 12, not chemistry. For computer applications, economic honors, for BCom honors, some organizations require math. For example, Delhi University and Calcutta University require you to have math for BA honors in economics, but not Bombay University or Bangalore University. So it's important to find out where math is required. Abroad, every university requires you to have math for economics and computer applications and BCom honors. Now, I have a suggestion here. Supposing you are just not good at math and it'll compromise your marks, then you could do it as a subject from the National Open School, NIOS, and that works. So there are many examples where students have taken up the eligibility subjects where they felt they may not get great marks in the board exams through the NIOS, and that gave them access to their dream career. For the medical field, veterinary sciences, BSc biotechnology, and pharmacy in the non-engineering institutions, you need physics, chemistry, biology. Now, in addition to PCB, for medical is either biology or biotechnology. And our advice as career counselors is that you may take up biotechnology, but it should not be at the cost of biology. For medical studies, PCB will help you prepare better for the NEET exam. After class 12, there are 3 broad routes. For students who are academically oriented and are not moving into medical field or engineering field or architecture right after +2, we recommend you go for a BA, BSc, BCom in the subject of your choice, because that will open up the possibility of specializations. If you don't want the specialization at that stage, you can move over to management, advertising, journalism, public relations, social work, law, filmmaking, design, hospitality, travel, tourism, so much more. Here, take for example the CLAT exam. It's a 5-year course. A lot of students take the CLAT entrance exam because it's prestigious and go in for the law courses at the national law universities without really knowing what law is all about. And they can't move out after 3 years or 2 years, and they're stuck. So if students are not sure, it's better to break up these 5-year programs into 3+3. Now, if you take the professional route, then there are a lot of possibilities here as well, of management, hotel management, media, social work. And after that, again, you can continue for a master's or change. Third option is combinations. Our kids are so lucky. For example, you can do English, psychology, journalism, economics, sociology, and industrial relations, performing arts with English and psychology, economics, media studies, political science, BA, BEd, BSc, LLB, BA, LLB, BCom, LLB. I mean, the range is huge. I have had students who were very keen on acting, and we have advised them that you can't be absolutely sure you'll get a break in acting. So while you practice this skill and talent, please have a backup. So students have gone in for anything from mass communication to economics to business. And at the same time, they have practiced their art in acting. So in Mumbai, you have the Actor Prepares, Whistling Woods. Whistling Woods has a tie-up with the Tata Institute of Social Sciences. So there are a lot of possibilities, and parents and teachers and educators, the best news is that the University Grants Commission has now allowed 2 simultaneous undergraduate courses. Earlier, it wasn't allowed. So you can do both in a campus, or you can do one online, offline. For instance, you want to do psychology. So you take up psychology at a campus, but you also want to do economics. And if you don't get it as a double major, you can do economics from IGNU and get a degree there, or from a recognized university abroad. So let's now come to some questions if there are, and then I'll take you through the new career options. We'll take questions.
Yes, ma'am. So we have a question from Mr. Das.
Yes.
And he says, ma'am, can you tell me that how a student can use their free time in an effective way? And can you provide a list of online free courses?
It requires planning. It requires prioritization. So we need to have a list of priorities. So one priority is your academic course and all the requirements of the school where you're going at Kasiga. Now, because the students are in a residential school, their life is planned. And at a school like Kasiga, everything is worked out, from academic life to your free time, to co-curricular activities, to projects, and so on. But if they are day scholars, and right now they're going to be at home for a while, the best bet is to take some very good online courses. YouTube has excellent courses which are mostly free on almost every academic subject and every talent field. So YouTube is one source. Another source is universities, open universities, And the third one is a lot of specialists who are putting out their knowledge for students and even mentoring them. So if you get any kind of specific inquiries, we will inform you. We also keep putting this out on our FB page on a regular basis. So our Facebook page, which we'll share with you almost every week, showcases some amazing opportunities. What's the next question?
So, ma'am, there is this another question from Mr. Pansari, and he says, hi, my son is in 9th standard now and keen to become an astronaut. I feel he's more fascinated towards that life. What can I do so that he takes it more seriously? Do you think career counseling will help him at this age? Grade 9 is the right time for career counseling?
Absolutely. Nowadays, children start early. So I can tell you that yesterday's adult is today's adolescent, and yesterday's adolescent is today's teenager in terms of development, in terms of what they are thinking, what they are wanting from life. So one thing I want to clarify, that anyone who goes into space is an astronaut. So when teachers have gone, or scientists have gone, or economists have gone on any space mission, they are astronauts. So what we need to look at is the engineering aspect of space technology. And there's going to be space technology, which is going to be very important, aerospace technology. We also need people from the sciences, people who've done physics and chemistry and biology and mathematics, people from, say, the social sciences, people from liberal arts. They're collaborative groups. And with more and more artificial intelligence and robotics being used, you get people from all fields. Now, your son is probably wanting to go the physics or the engineering route. So we'll have to see which would be the best for him. And ideally, for space technology, it is physics, chemistry, math, followed by aerospace engineering or aeronautical engineering or space technology. But other science streams can also lead you to the technical aspects of aerospace engineering. For instance, analytics would be required. So anybody who's done math and analytics could go in for the field of aerospace.
So, ma'am, there is this another very interesting question from a parent, Mrs. Srivastav. She says that my son is in 9th grade and he's very much interested in football. And we were also okay as parent to, if in case he wants to make his career in football, we were totally okay with it. Now his sister has got through MBBS and suddenly he wants to become a doctor. He's so inspired by his sister that he says that now I don't want to pursue football anymore. I want to take MBBS as my career. But as parent, we know that he's average in studies. He will not be able to make it. But it's very, how do we put it across to him that bacha, your skill set is sports. Focus on sports and don't change your focus.
So as Mrs. Singh and Mrs. Wali mentioned earlier, this is a time where we need to have specialist guidance for them and help them to see what their core strengths are, what their core aptitudes are, and give them a range of opportunities within that. So he may be interested in biology, which may not necessarily lead to medicine, but he can move into, let us say, sports psychology or sports medicine, physiotherapy in the sports arena. So there are a lot of possibilities, and we don't discount medicine either. We need to see the depth of that thought, the depth of that vision that your son has, and important to explore, to discuss, to do some exercises, and then decide what would be the best.
Okay, that sounds perfect, ma'am. Another very interesting question from one of the parents, Mr. Mukherjee. He said, is it important to analyze the do's and don'ts of a career that our child is dreaming of and tell them about the pros and cons of that path? Now he's saying that his son wants to become a musician. You know, he's totally into music. So as a parent, he understands music, as a freelancer, it's very difficult to get into this industry. So he says, I mean, how do I handle this as a parent? Because as a parent, we would want a stable career for our children. And the child is totally into music. So how to handle this?
So I fully empathize with you. Music is definitely a proven talent, and we need to continue to encourage it. But as both Mrs. Wali and Mrs. Singh mentioned earlier, for some of these areas, it may take time to have a breakthrough. So while we continue to develop our talent, we should have a backup which is closely related to our aptitudes and interests. It could be, for instance, sound technology. It could be media. It could be teaching. It could be related or unrelated. So we say where your talents and the needs of the world match, lie opportunities, grab them. So we've got to have plan A, plan B, plan C in place, but well thought through ones that resonate with us, that will make us happy. And we do not have to sacrifice our talent for anything. I can give you an example of where the breakthrough may come much later. One of our counselors is Mrs. Mala Mukherjee, and I know her husband very well, and I've in fact tracked his career for the last 25 years or more. He's a very good singer in Hindustani classical music. And he realized that he may not get a breakthrough in this. His other passion was geology. So he studied geology. All through, he kept practicing music and giving concerts where possible. And he joined the Geological Survey of India. He became the director of GSI. And then an opportunity presented itself. There was an advertisement from the Sangeet Research Academy. He applied, and from being director of GSI, he became director of the Sangeet Research Academy, where he trained talent, he gave many more concerts, and he was able to then have both aspects come together in his life. So some may be a continuum, others may be parallel tracks. Shovana Narayan, for instance, is a very good Kathak dancer. And she had a very successful career as a civil servant as well, as director of the Indian Audits and Account Services. Throughout her career in the civil services, she gave performances across the world. So she had two careers wherein she did audits and accounts during the day and performed during the evenings. So there are many people who are able to do both. There are bankers who are actors. And when they get the breakthrough from stage acting, they go into film acting. So there are a lot of possibilities. What I want to emphasize is do not sacrifice development of your talent.
Can I add another example, Dr. Das?
Yes, please do.
I just thought of Palash Sen.
Yes.
If he could carry on his music practice and training along with such a difficult course as MBBS,
yes.
I'm sure music is something which the timings can be flexible. So it can be carried on with another steady academic program for the child concerned.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's so many such cases. All it needs is belief in yourself, belief in your goal, and some good time management and planning.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think it answers Mr. Mukherjee's query. Ma'am, we have one more question from Mrs. Khatri. She says, my son is interested in electronic music or DJing, DJ production. How can I help him with it?
So if he's interested in DJing, and parents, if kids are interested in any of these different aspects which need talent, they need to start practicing young. So take part in various events and showcase your talent. You can showcase it through digital platforms as well, through YouTube, through IGTV, and that will give you perfection. So train, and there are a lot of people who are specialists in the field who have short master classes. Go for those master classes. Now, a lot of them are online through Zoom. So attend classes, showcase your talent, have opportunities to be part of concerts and events and shows, and you make a name for yourself.
Thank you, ma'am. And there is this last question, which is from Mr. Singh. He
Yes.
says, ma'am, are there any architecture courses which can be pursued with music? My daughter has just passed class 10th. She wants to become an architect, but she has passion for music also.
So definitely, while she does architecture, she should take courses in music. Now, it depends on what music. There are schools of music in major cities. And there's also possibility of joining Trinity College and doing the exams, or the ABRSM, the Associate Board of Royal College of Music. So there are many ways of doing music, and I think she can do both, though the course of architecture is very, very time consuming and it requires a lot of concentration and attention. Yet you have weekends, you have holidays, you can create time to upgrade your skills in music.
He has mentioned again that she is too good in writing also, and she has just released a poem book. So again, she wants to be an architect, she has passion for music, she's into writing. So parent is like, how do I handle this?
You don't need to handle it. Let her be, she will handle it. Just encourage her. She will do it, because we believe it's important today to have a career portfolio that brings together the building blocks of your talent, wherein you can do 2 or 3 things simultaneously, and some may go out, some others may come in, and you enjoy life with really having a lot of opportunities for creative self-expression. It's relaxing, and it gives you the work-life balance as well. So I say let her be, because students know how to handle it. And there are many people who do 2 or 3 things. It's effortless for them. It doesn't take so much time.
Right.
So I think we should not worry, just encourage that.
A word, Dr. Das, can I just add on?
Yes.
I just wanted to add on a bit to this, that whenever there are these 2, 3, confusion between 2, 3 career modes, I think the child has to be very sure which is, he has to prioritize, his interest, and then accordingly focus on that first. Maybe it is writing more and not architecture so much. Maybe, but maybe the parents think architecture is a more secure career, and hence, the child is pushing for architecture. So, those are things which they need to talk about, maybe consult a professional, whichever, and sort out these, the differences.
I agree. Prioritizing is important, but some of this is so effortless for students. It's a natural extension of them. So I think we can help them, talk to them, but at some stage, let them figure it out. That is important.
Ma'am, one last question, which is again, I find is very relevant to this discussion. Yes. That is from Mrs. Gupta. She says, fine, a child is studying in Kasiga. The class size is very small. Teachers focus, they give one-on-one attention. But there are other children in the family wherein they are going to a local school and the class size is 50, 60. And forget about knowing the individual talents of the children. Teachers don't even know the names of the children in the class. Wherein the child spends like good 8 to 9 hours in the classroom. So she's like, how do we? Who is going to help in exploring those facets of a child?
See, we are the pioneers of career counseling and guidance. I established the Institute for Career Studies in 1985. So we have a very, very scientific approach to career counseling and guidance. We have introduced what is called the art and science of career counseling and guidance. And we look at the student in a very holistic way. And our process includes parents. So we help profile the student at different stages. And then we do individual counseling for the child, and then the child and the parent. And we're doing so much of it post-COVID through Zoom. And it's really important to be in touch with career counselors to sort out these issues. So thanks for that. We'll now go into some more which will help very quickly. Very interesting discussions.
Yeah,
and it's 6:30. 1.5 hours, but I quickly want to show you that there are careers that are available from all subjects. And what we need to know is that there'll be digital transformations in each career field, more and more. For example, when we talk about advertising, it's going to be digital marketing, art and design, UI and UX, accountancy and analytics, banking and finance will have e-finance, and so on. We move to the next. So all these fields have super specializations within them, and they have a digital persona, which our students would be trained in. Then there are careers today and specializations today that didn't exist yesterday. There'll be many tomorrow that don't exist today. The prediction is 60% of specializations that we don't know are specializations that will present themselves for your children. So there's a lot of this, and interdisciplinarity is very important. For example, if you study economics and psychology, there's a new field of behavioral economics and behavioral finance, wherein you look at the impact of human behavior on market trends, on the stock markets, its ups and downs. Within law, there are two new specializations, genetics law, cyber law. So if your child loves biology, is keen on law, you combine biology and law and you get genetics law. Or computer science with law would lead to cyber law. There's web series production, and there's so much more. So how we need to prepare is also to keep in mind what the post-COVID scenario is going to be. So in addition to the digital transformations, there's going to be serial entrepreneurship. Many quick transitions for an entrepreneur. Example, entrepreneurs who were in the hotel sector or the travel and tourism sector are now making personal protection equipment and kits. They've quickly moved from that. So we have to see what opportunities are emerging and bring our entrepreneurial drive to it. Anything with environment, energy, ecology, sustainable development will have a great future. Smart villages will require a lot of specialists to ensure high level of productivity, which is more localized, organic farming, all the high touch careers like teaching, counseling, caregivers, wellness specialists, trainers, there'll be a huge demand. Scientific research will see new horizons. So for students who are very keen on science and not on technology, medical, etc., we must encourage them to explore the possibility of research in this field, disaster management, analytics, and much more. So all these are some newer areas which will have a lot of demand. This is interesting. Liberal arts are shining in the age of AI because artificial intelligence, robots, chatbots need a human touch. So more and more psychologists and humanities students are needed. And so the saying goes that a liberal arts graduate, a psychologist, is a tech company's hottest ticket. The other thing which we need to keep in mind is that one specialization is not going to be enough. We need to pick up a couple of specializations as we travel in life and be lifelong learners, because that is what is going to keep us relevant and thriving in areas of our choice. So more than one specialization. Then we need to also keep in mind that India has great opportunities for study, and you don't have to worry about your kid getting into a great campus because choices exist. Similarly, a lot of choices exist for studies abroad. Now, where India is concerned, COVID impact, I've had, and all of us have had, at ICS, lots of phone calls, lots of letters from worried parents and students, and we appreciate that worry. They want to know what's going to be happening. So parents, don't worry. We may not be in the same boat, but we are in the same storm. COVID has turned us upside down. So there will be delays, there'll be online classes, and the beauty of it is that all entrance exams have been delayed, be it the law entrance, NEET, all of it is delayed. And so the dates have been extended, more time for preparation. And we'll keep you informed through our Facebook and website of the latest dates as they come up. When we look at studies abroad, it's important to look at the cost, the capability of students, and the placement scenario. For the next 2 years, placement scenario will be affected, and so will scholarships. So let us see what the post-COVID scenario is. The best news is there's a major relaxation in the admission of students. Universities abroad depended on international students. Now that they're not coming, there's been a major decline in their finances. So they're taking students without SAT, without ACT. They become much more liberal. Another very interesting event has been, there's a notification from NTA that many students are not going for engineering studies abroad. So JEE has extended the last date to May 25th. And there's likelihood of 2 semesters to be taught online. Essentially, the best thing that is going to happen is many collaborations, excellent collaborations with top universities, with Indian universities, so your children will have many more opportunities to access quality education. So we've talked about employability skills. These develop through co-curricular activities. These develop through projects and undertaking research assignments. So data literacy, critical thinking, tech savviness, adaptability. We've learned so much about adaptability, design thinking, and creativity. Design thinking is about empathizing with the problem by being aware. Entrepreneurship, everybody will have to have entrepreneurial skills. Emotional intelligence. I hope emotional intelligence has grown during the COVID lockdown, and that's going to be a big asset. Global literacy, because you've been connected globally, leadership skills, complex problem solving, collaboration. So much collaboration has happened online and offline. The best example of collaboration has been classes going online and teachers and students and parents trying to make the best of it. Curiosity for lifelong learning is also very, very important. We now move on to the last very important thought, that let us prepare for and challenge the future today, lead the change, and create a better tomorrow. Parents, you play a catalytic role in making a difference. Connect with us for information. This is our website, and you have a unique user ID, Kasiga. Kasiga is your user ID. Password is ICS member. The school will send it out to you as well. So you can immediately access a lot of information. Our FB page is ICS International, Career by Choice, Not Chance. And you will see all the latest announcements of admissions, of scholarships, of online courses right here. Be in touch with us. Our ID is institute@icsmail.in, and you will be able to connect with us through the school as well, through Mrs. Nupur Jain. Just remain connected. We are a member school of Kasiga, proud to be so. And thank you once again for being such an enlightened audience with so many questions. Your questions added range and depth to our discussions today. I would like to just conclude with something which actually tells us where we are heading. So Robert Frost said, 2 roads diverged in the woods, and I took the one less traveled by, and it made all the difference. But today I say, infinite roads diverge in the woods. Let's have the courage to take the least traveled by. Better still, make a road of your own. And that is the kind of empowerment our children need. And all of us together are going to make it happen. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, ma'am, for your inputs and insights. So, good evening, all. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks. I, on behalf of entire management of Kasiga School and my own behalf, extend a hearty note of thanks to our honorable speaker, Dr. Amrita Das, respected members of panel, Mrs. Nupur Bali and Mrs. Rashmi Singh, for sharing their valuable insights and opinions on the topic. We are all enlightened by your words. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Nupur.
I would also like to extend our thanks to our parent fraternity and all other guests who took out time from their busy schedule to attend this webinar and made it a great success. I would also like to take this opportunity to place on records our thanks to Mr. Vineet Singh and our IT department for the technical support provided by them. And finally, last but not the least, I would like to thank our head of school, Mrs. Sonali Sinha, for her guidance. We are fortunate to be backed by you, ma'am. Thank you all. Have a great evening ahead.
I would also like to quickly thank my colleague, Ms. Pooja.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Pooja, thank you so much for putting the entire show together.
With the PowerPoint presentation.
For the PowerPoint presentation, yes.
Yeah. So I want everyone to know that the end of this webinar should be the beginning of a long and meaningful association.
Right.
We are there for you. We are there to help you at every stage. Please remain in touch. All the best. Thank you again very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.